everybody to our show. This is Custom Fab Garage on our channel Octane TV on YouTube. Make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button, and on top of that, make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can get all the new content that comes out weekly and even every day.
Gonna be doing this 2021 Z71 Trail Boss. We've done a few of these, so really like the way these trucks sound like whenever you get them all finished up with adding a sub into them. Customer did bring all of his own equipment, so we will be installing everything that he actually purchased himself. (2021) Z71 Trail Boss. This is what we're going to be working on today. Customer did bring in his own equipment. We will show you that as well. Alpine amp, Alpine sub, and his own enclosure. Kind of hard to see. I'll show you more of that when we start doing the process, but he did bring his own equipment, and we'll let you know how that sounds as well. We will put links down in the description of everything that we'll be using and the customer's equipment that he brought in, and we'll kind of let you know what we think of the quality of what he brought in and the sound. Okay, this is the sub enclosure that he brought to us. Here's the kind of model number. I believe this is for a 14 and up. It's not very heavy. It doesn't feel very heavy duty, but it could just be that, you know, it's just a small enclosure. So he did run the S type series sub at 600 RMS, and then the monoblock Alpine. The recommended sealed is 0.85 cubic feet for the Alpine sub for this type S. I don't think that this is 0.85 cubic feet if I had to guesstimate on this, just because of the height, that being 5 to 6 inches, the length, everything. I'm gonna guesstimate this is gonna be in between 0.4 and 0.6 cubic feet, maybe at the most 0.65 cubic feet, and that's being generous. So I think this is gonna suffer a little bit, but everybody, for some weird reason, wants to run a 12 instead of a 10. That's the thing. But with the 10, the cool thing about the 10 is if you run the 10, you only need 0.58 cubic feet. That's what's so awesome about the 10. So if we put a 10 in this enclosure, we'd be at optimal cubic feet. So you don't really gain anything besides output with the 12, but you sacrifice on lower frequencies because you're cutting the box size down. So this box is rated on their website at 0.74 cubic feet, which is still less than what we're gonna hear. So we're gonna try to polyfill this enclosure to see if we can try to get it bigger. So this is the AK4 4-gauge amplifier kit. Kind of do a little review on it. The RCAs look extremely nice. Very good quality for the price of this kit. It also comes with a nicer fuse holder, which I find honestly, it's kind of crazy that they give you this nice of a fuse holder with the cost of this kit. Most of them are super cheap. They come with the HEU fuse holder. So this one comes with a mini A&L. That's actually a really nice bonus of buying this kit. It does come with extremely nice speaker wire, which is another bonus. And the actual wire itself comes with loom. And the 4-gauge itself, it's not the biggest on the inside, but it's also not the smallest I've seen. So I would rate this kit really decent. I would say that the 4-gauge itself is more like a 6-gauge, so I wouldn't use it on anything crazy high end, but the quality of all the parts that comes with and the remote wire, everything's really nice. The only thing I would say that's a downside to this kit is, and it comes with all your little grommets and pieces right here, is the 4-gauge is just not quite as big as other 4-gauge. So that's just the only thing that you would want to think about, is this isn't quite the most amount of strands per inch I've ever seen, but it does the job pretty well for what it is. So I want to make this video to show everybody how to hook up your adjustable line output converter, or LOC, or high to low. They're all the same. This is an SNI-35. I will put a link down below to this. The way we wire this up is you take your negative of both sides. See, you got a gray negative, white negative connected into one terminal. You have your positives, you connect them into one terminal. The browns you don't even use, and I'll test the tape all this up. But basically you're gonna connect this into your speaker lead, your one speaker lead. You only need one, you don't need two. So basically the way a sub works is it's a mono signal. It's not stereo. You don't have to tap into 2 wires. Now, if you're hooking up a highs amp and you wanted left and right separation, yes, you would have to hook up all 4 of these, but this is a sub. It's a mono input. The amplifier itself is a mono. So this is how you do this. If everybody keeps asking me, I've had 1,000 questions, and I want to explain this to everybody so they know in detail what exactly we're doing when we're hooking this up. I'll show you where we hook this up to the speaker wire. You're just going to tap this in using your T-taps into the speaker wire. That's it. You don't have to hook up 4 leads. There's only 2. That's it. So you only have to hook up a negative and positive. That's it. You just need 1 speaker terminal. That's it. Here's what it's going to look like after we're finished. We just taped up all of our wires so it looks nice and neat. On our remote wire, we went ahead and put a lug on here, so that way we can tap it into the fuse box. Sorry, my camera today, for some weird reason, does not want to focus on anything. I don't know what its obsession is with not focusing. Jeez. My God. So here is the lug we put on here so that we can tap it into our fuse panel. So basically it'll just slide over. That's how it'll work. All right, so we have the box filled with polyfill. Filled it all in there just because the cubic airspace isn't quite enough. We have our terminal attached, and we use these jumpers that comes with the Alpine to be able to wire up the terminals to make it pretty easy. So you're just gonna wire one of your positives in and one of your negatives in. Not that side, go the other one. All right, we got the sub screwed down. I do like this little gasket thing that Type S, you just pull this up and you put your screws underneath it. It kind of covers up all your screws. That does look really nice. That is one thing I do like about the Alpine Type S, and I think the Type R is the same way. So Beavis has all of our wiring run through here. And we're gonna run our remote wire up to here. We're gonna knock right into this guy right here. So that's why we put this style of terminal on here. So you can just basically connect it into this lug that's sticking out right here. So one of the nice things about the Chevys is they at least give you this, which is pretty cool. If I can get it to go back in there like it's supposed to, but yeah, basically this lug will go all the way back like that. And then boom, there's where you tag into for the remote wire. And then down here, I'll show you where we're gonna tag into. That's why these RCAs are down here. For our LOC, high to low, whatever you wanna call it, we're gonna tag in right down here for the Bose. So these are the 2 wires you're gonna tap into. They're always gonna be braided like this. It's your yellow with yellow with black stripe. So we're gonna take our taps and then we're gonna tap these over so we can connect this into it. All right, so we have our 2 taps right here. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to take these right here and then you're gonna slide them down into here, just like that. And then you'll have everything tied into for your subwoofer. So here's what it looks like once you insert them in. And then that leaves us with this piece here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect our RCAs into this side. So you'll take the RCA from here that we have, and you're gonna connect them into the top right here. And that's pretty much it. All right, so we went ahead and wired wheeled right here with our bolt. We're gonna go ahead and use for the ground, and then we'll get all this cleaned up and organized back here. All right, so we are grounded underneath that bolt right there. And now we're gonna get all this cleaned up and make sure everything works.
I'm gonna put it onto this.
We're gonna connect that 4 gauge to that actual lug right there.
But I'm trying to figure out how to run this to make it look pretty.
All right, so that's how we have it wired into the lug right there. Fuse panel over there. All right, so it's very hard to see, but if you can see that wire loom right down there where he's got that light flashing, kind of hanging out of that little grommet. That wire loom down there is where we ran the wire through, where he just shined that light on, where it's kind of sticking out right down there. Boom, right there. That is the wire right there going that way. That is going our 4 gauge into that grommet. There's actually a big nipple type thing sticking off. We just cut that off and run it right through. Just to let you know, and that's right behind the battery right here. So when you buy this box, it is made for a 14. So if you're using it for a 19 and up, we go to Menards and buy these like risers, and you'll screw them down here, because the way the truck floor is on this, the sub's hitting the floor. So that's why this is made for a 14 to 18 in my opinion, and not a 19 and 21. It will work, but you got to move it up a little bit, so you got to basically raise this up. So you can go get these Menards, Home Depots, Lowe's, anywhere, but that's the only way this sub box is going to work properly in here. So it kind of looks ugly from this side, but it'll look better once you flip it over. And you can get smaller ones too that don't stick out like quite this much. But even with this mat here too, that mat sticking up, that mat's going to smack up against the sub as well. So you have to be careful about all that kind of stuff, because you don't want anything smacking the sub or it'll ruin it. Here's what it looks like when it's sitting in there. Sorry about all this dust and stuff. You can kind of see the plastic a little bit, but at least this plastic here protects to where you can run your finger underneath here. You do not want that sub to be smacking up against anything, or you will have problems and it will hit it, and then you'll blow the sub. And here's the other side. And here's the amp. And what we did was we installed all the wires going through. We ran them through that channel underneath this part right here. So this kind of covers up where the wires are going through, and then the ground's obviously there. And then we screwed the amp down to the carpet. Fits in there really snug. Looks really nice and clean. And he can just throw shit on top of it. Throw stuff on top of it, sorry. And looks really nice. We installed our remote level controller right here on the side of the console. These are the parts that we did use today, which is an S-A60M amplifier, 600x1, and an S-W12D4. This is a single 12, 600 RMS type S. We did use an LC1 remote level controller. He did want to put a bass knob in here. Now this amp does have a bass knob for itself, but it did not come with it. I don't know why. So we did have to put an LC1 so he can control the bass up and down. We also used a SNI 35. This is for your adjustable line output converter. We needed that as well. And we also used a AK4 4-gauge amp kit. We also used some other little miscellaneous parts as well, but this is what you're gonna need to get the basic job done. So we wanted to kind of show you guys the parts that we used in this and that he brought to us to make all this work.